We're looking at some of the places where pulleys are used in aerospace. And they're used because the effort force with a pulley is reduced compared to the load force, and they sometimes change direction for cables. And in light aircraft, they're used for the control surfaces, for manipulating them, and reduces the effort, again, that needs to be used there. And in these photographs, you can see actual pulleys in different aircraft, and oops, a screw got in one, but luckily the plane was okay. And you might be able to locate the pulleys on this diagram. And here are descriptions of how they control roll, pitch, and yaw, and vocab for parts of the airplane. And here's speed reduction systems, where an auto engine with high revolutions is reduced for propeller speeds, often using pulleys. And in helicopters, the main rotor, the tail rotor, use pulley systems for control. And here's a diagram which shows the gearboxes going to the rotors, with the pulleys in between, the engine, and also including the pilot controls in the cockpit. And here's a tail rotor diagram of a helicopter. And so this is what we've looked at, and we're also going to look at cranes, hoists, winches, and some lifts which involve pulleys, and aviation uses of them. This one lifting a massive C-130 transport plane, a smaller seaplane here, the F-35 being winched in its, as it's delivered to different places. And here, training exercise with patient evacuation and winches, and Black Hawk helicopters. Small boat, but you can transport small aircraft like that to Mirage jet after a crash landing on a battlefield. Here's a seaplane being winched out of the sea onto a boat's deck. And here, the space shuttle being transported between landing sites, and now between museums, because the space shuttle program has finished. And you see the cranes that are used to hoist the space shuttle on and off the back of a 747. Ceiling hoist here, and you can count the cables between the booms on the pulley system. Some lifts use pulley systems, though hydraulics on aircraft carriers to move aircraft and ordnance from different decks. And here's Mercury 7 astronaut Alan Shepard being winched out after his historic flight. And you can pause to get the links. Maven, mission to Mars, the roof tracks here. And more of the winching of the space shuttle. And here, for the new Orion spacecraft, various training areas being tested out, and the gantries with the different heights, and the Orion space capsule being put on top of the space launch system. And here, retrieving the Orion after testing, testing the splashdown possibilities, building a gantry for the Space Center, and other Orion. And here's SpaceX Dragon. And here are some sites that you can look at. And we're going to look at some of the crane vocabulary and where the pulleys are in the big cranes. So look carefully at the load, at the counterweight, at the left-hand side of the beam, the hook block that holds the load, and here the trolley with the pulleys, which can go outwards on the jib and back and be lowered and raised, and more sights. And don't forget to visit the Air and Space Museum to look carefully for pulleys.